So I'm going to touch on something quite uncomfortable tonight, and it's something that a lot of people will either not want to admit or not want to really accept the truth of, and that's the reasoning behind the connotation of rejection is protection, when really we should look at the denotation of both words in that, which is what rejection actually is and protection is, and they're two separate things, and how we use the connotation to maybe simplify and try to put together both of those to maybe justify the feelings of moving forward unscathed from the idea of rejection is protection and the whole connotation behind that and why we all use it, because that's something that I note and touch on quite a lot is this, from my standpoint is someone who's been pushed out for. I always told the truth, even when I've been in the wrong and done wrong. I always hold my hands up, I'm always accountable for myself, and I'm not perfect, and I've not been perfect, and even now I don't know everything, and I'm still learning quite a lot despite me being the age I am now, and but one thing I've got to fully admit and embrace the idea of is that rejection isn't always protection. It's more a projection of somebody else's feelings that may be negative towards me, or a circumstance that I'm in, or something that I bring up in others. And also the same for others too, when they're experiencing this as well. We all sit and we all can bask in the idea of not being accepted in certain circumstances, for us as individuals and as a person, for either who we are, what we bring to the table, what exact role we may play in each other's lives or in relationship dynamics, regardless of whether they're platonic or intimate, and when it comes to work situations and social dynamics itself, and what you bring to the table in general, and how the world and our minds are all very complex, and we're all on our own individual paths. And there's something I've learned to accept now, which is that rejection isn't protection, and that we have to understand that maybe potentially that we are not accepted by others because not everybody's on the same kind of wavelength, timeline, way of thinking, and sometimes people have to make choices that are the best for themselves in circumstances, and in order for them to move forward in their life, because we're all living a separate experience, the same for us too, we need to look at both sides of that coin. And sometimes when we're in a really stuck and a hard position, despite us may have been giving to others quite a lot, and we may fall on hardships or hard times and need to pull back at times, and we can be in and out ourselves, be a bit flaky, should we say, and others aren't taking notes the way we do as individuals too. So it's important that we accept others for their individual paths and journeys, and despite us justifying that feeling, that action from another, we need to accept that despite it not feeling so great, and it might hurt us as people, as individuals, and it's something we find hard to process and work through, and it may leave a mark sometimes, and in most cases it really does, and it has with me. I've been hurt by others not quite choosing me, or me feeling like I'm in a position because of another person's life, and I'm feeling hurt by that. And for me, it's about the acceptance of it, and accepting that we aren't for everybody. We aren't going to be exactly fitting for every circumstance and every person that comes into our life. We do all meet everybody in life for a reason, sometimes only for a season, and very rarely is anybody in your life for a lifetime, and that's a fact, including our own family members. So the important thing to note is that when we use connotations, like rejection is protection, we really need to understand the denotation of the words themselves that we're using and understand what it is and process that correctly, you know? It's okay that we justify specific, projections of connotations like that, and be accepting that we are going to get hurt and trauma happens, and we need to process, and the way we do it healthily. But when you come to a point, if you're going around in circles over the connotations, you carry that and you start accepting that itself. Rejection is protection. It's a bit delusional, you know, and we can't be all delulu 24/7. We can for a period of time in order to move through a circumstance, but we really do need to look at the actual core meaning of what these things actually are and for what they are. And it's because of circumstances, and we're all on our own paths, and we're all individual, and sometimes we can feel like this happens for the whole of our lives. And especially if you're a deep empathetic person who carries quite a lot and is very thoughtful, and you tend to give a lot, and you don't really want to hold malice towards others, but not everybody is you, and not everybody's going to have the purest of hearts. I won't mind being a bit dark when it comes to like getting what they need out of you, or making you do something and manipulating you in some kind of way into doing what they need must. Not everybody's of the light, or walks in the light, or has come from a dark place and wants to be doing right, you know. It's important to note that, to look at the denotation, and the denotation is a meaning of the exact meaning of what one word means, a definition of exactly that. So like a connotation means a feeling around, you know, a specific, and a denotation is the exact meaning of what it actually is, you know, and it's important to remember that. But yeah, I hope you found that useful. If you did listen to me, and if you have listened this far, thank you very much, and thanks for being here. And this is Craig's Corner, and I'm Craig, and I do talk on topics that sometimes can be a bit out of the ordinary, although I'm hoping that it could be useful to quite a few people. And as I learn along the way too, and I learn and I process, and I'm being introspective about my life and the circumstances that I've been through, I do like to share what I learn, and try to help you guys too. And this is why I'm here, and this is a safe space, by the way. And there's no judgment here. And I've been through a dark past. I've not always walked in the most conscious way. I've caused a lot of pain and trauma to others, and as much as it's happened to me, I've projected quite a lot through the years. So I've made it my sole purpose, in order for me to walk consciously and make the conscious effort to feel better about myself, and do the work, the shadow work, the inner healing, whatever you want to call it, the conscious effort to be a better version of myself. I need to be processing and living correctly, and this is the way I do it, is by walking correctly and trying not to get into trouble, you know. And I've been free from prison for about 12 years now, from a life sentence. I'm an ex-youth worker. I was a youth worker for a while. I've had my ups and downs along the way since I've been out. I fell into addiction for a period of time. I had a bit of a toxic relationship, and it didn't turn out too well, though I learned from it, and we all grow. And even though I was hurt from a circumstance, I don't allow it to define the way I carry myself and move forwards. Because lessons and blessings are what we focus on in life. We don't worry about teachings and trauma. Yeah, and this is why I'm here, is to try and help you, and it helps me to process all these things. So thank you for being here. I'm Craig. If you haven't already, drop me a little like, and to help my channel, and put me in the algorithm bit by dropping some comments and maybe sharing the content with others that may need to hear it. And consider subscribing, please. I'd really appreciate the support and helping the growth of this channel, and it really encourages me to keep moving forwards, knowing that people do support me and want to hear my word and my messages that I have for others. And yeah, I'm really thankful that you're here, and I hope that you can spend some time with me again soon. And take care, and I hope you're doing well.